Finally had delivery of the Bear Carnage compound bow. It's our 2011 flagship bow. Been waiting quite a long time to get my hands on one of these, and it's great to finally have one here. I'm going to compare this bow directly against the Attack, which was its predecessor, see what the differences are, see if they really have made some improvements, and see if it's worth the extra money over and above the Attack. I've got two different bows here. I've got the Bear Attack, which is still in the product line, and it'd be worth watching my earlier product review of the Attack, and it'll give you a good idea of what I think of that, because this is going to be a comparison between the two bows. And on first inspection it's quite clear that both bows are very similar. The specifications are similar, slight differences which we'll go into in detail, but it comes down to three main features. The first one is a new cam that they have, the second one is a roller guard, and the third one is the longer riser. So let's have a look at each of those features in detail and also see what the similarities are, and hopefully that'll give you a better understanding of the evolution of the Carnage. When you're looking at the cam in a bit more detail, you can see it's a lot slimmer. We call it a skeleton cam because they've really machined it out, and it does look like it's been skeletonized to the maximum possible while still maintaining the strength. And I don't know whether it shows it up in detail on the camera, but it does look like a very, very thin cam. And by making it thinner like this, the claim is to have saved mass weight, which naturally they do. So that saving of mass weight should increase the speed of the bow, and the speed of the bow is actually advertised at 5 feet a second more than the Attack bow. But when you compare that cam to the Attack cam, this is the Attack cam now I'm showing you, it is extremely similar. In fact, it looks like exactly the same profiles but made lighter. So the difference in the cams looks to be mass weight rather than any shape difference. Another noticeable difference is the draw length modules, where the Carnage now has 1/2 inch draw length adjustments. You can see here these are all numbered to show you all the different settings. So where the Attack cam only had 1 inch increments, you could always tweak the Attack cam by twisting up the strings or cables to get those 1/2 inch increments, but on the Carnage bow it's easy. No bow press again required. Simply remove the module and screw the cap head screws here. Take out this module, which looks to be exactly the same module as used in the Attack bow, but with an additional modules added to the range to give those 1/2 inch increments, and the stop would be moved as well. So that cam looks like it's going to feel exactly the same, which we'll test in a minute. It most certainly looks lighter. The idler of the Carnage has also been thinned down a bit as well, and there's a little extra detail there. There's just some nice details on the machining on the cams that make it stand out. You can see some of the extra relief here. Let's get really in close for you there. They're just thinning these things out to make them as light as possible. The Attack idler, extremely similar but lacking some of the extra machining, so you can see some weight saving on the Carnage cam. Another new addition is the cable guard. It's been improved with the addition of these roller bearings that are on there, so the cables run inside 4 aluminium wheels, and they're assembled with bearings in the middle, and they do turn beautifully smooth, so there's no friction there at all. And these are housed on a aluminium bar which is contoured. And if there was a criticism that I made about the Attack bow, was here, let me show you the Attack bow. The cable slider, it's a standard plastic slider on a carbon rod, typical as you'll see on most bows, and the plastic slider sticks a bit. It's not very smooth, and you need a bit of lubrication on there just occasionally to keep that running slick. Nothing unusual about that. This is the type of slider that it happens on, so any plastic type sliders do have a bit of stickiness to them, and it is nice to see them move away from that now with this very slick, very smooth assembly unit here. The third and most significant change from my point of view is the longer riser that they have on the Carnage. it's created a bow of an extra 1 inch in axle to axle length, and that length is created by the longer riser because the limb is exactly the same as on the attack bow. And from someone coming from a target archery and a field archery background that's used to shooting a bow of a longer length, it's a most welcome improvement. And improvement only from my point of view, from preferring to shoot a longer bow, because when I shot the attack, I did have some difficulty getting used to the string reference point on my face. The string angle is much tighter when the bow becomes much shorter. So I'm hoping that when I test this Carnage bow, that extra length is going to give you a more comfortable anchor point and a more comfortable bow to shoot. Another welcome improvement as well is the increase in brace height. It's only 1/4 of an inch larger. The attack was a 7-inch brace height, which is a perfect brace height, ideal type of brace height for the style of bow. And the larger the brace height, the more forgiving the bow should become. And if it's true, if what they say in the advertising is correct, that we've got a larger brace height, we've got a longer length of bow, and 5 extra feet per second in speed, there's no downside to that. That's purely all benefit, all gain. So I'm going to try that out, see if we really have increased the speed of the bow, and if we have, then it's bonus for nothing really. Another welcome benefit of this longer riser is almost a contradiction. You'd expect, as a bow got bigger and risers get longer, you'd expect the bow to get heavier, but it isn't. Somehow they've made a bigger bow with a longer riser, lighter than its predecessor, the attack, which was already a lightweight bow with a shorter riser, and they've made this one lighter. And you can see they've skeletonized the riser as much as possible as well. So not only did they do it on the cams, they've looked at every possible spare place on that bow riser where you can remove weight without compromising the strength of it, and they've achieved it. Somehow they've got a lighter bow, and that's a really nice finishing touch to the specifications of this. Just giving you some close-ups now of the detail of the bow. As usual, the cam is really well machined. There's all bevels and radiuses on all of the corners of that cam, and look how thin that is. That's amazing. That is. It's the lightest weight possible you could get on a cam. All the engraving on the numbers are clear. Limbs are exactly the same as previous models. A good limb on the attack. Limb pockets exactly the same. Limb bolts are the same. String suppressors are the same. Looking at the riser more closely, you can see how skeletonized that riser is. I'm ever so pleased to see that they've kept the same grip. It might look like a basic grip, but the shape of it is just right. A nice narrow slim grip with and it's not just a straight plastic grip either. It's got like a rubberized texture to it. It's really comfortable. Nice bear logo in there. See, there's a contour on the bar. Let's show you a bit better on that one, on the cable bar. And close up on those rollers. Inside those aluminium wheels there are ball bearings in there. Perfectly smooth, no friction on that at all. The finish is not bad. It's not the absolute best top of the range finish I've ever seen, but it's a tidy finish. It's good. Same pocket, you see the limb locking screw for undoing that. It's a pivoting limb pocket style on there. Got some new graphics on the top limbs as well, which look quite nice. See those? There you go, Bear Carnage all the way along there. And then the top idler, again nice detail. See the extra reliefs that over and above what you got on the attack bows, extra depth on there, and really lightweight and narrow cam. I like how they're blackened the tips of the axles as well. Just flipping the bow over there, you can see the top half of the riser, it's all skeletonized. Make it as light as possible. It would have been a nice finishing touch to put some radiuses on these corners here inside the pockets, like they do on the cams, but minor criticism. It's nice to see some big chunky screws in there to hold the cable guard bracket down. Looks like it's a good solid stiff cable guard bracket as well. I don't like flexible cable guards at all. Just checking out the strings and cables. These are HP Contraband pre-stretched, which are a premium quality bowstring. I'm just checking out the length of this serving. Look at the serving on this cable here. You got about 3 inches gap, and the serving runs all the way up here through the cable guard, up around the top cam, back down again. That's a lot of serving. They could have split that into 2 halves if they wanted to. Seems a bit wasteful on the serving, but looks nice and tight and well made. The side of the bow, stainless steel stabilizer bushing still in there as before. So if you did see my review of the Attack, you can see it's such a similar bow as the Attack, just those few changes to make that difference there. A close up of the cam, and this is the cam of the Attack bow. If you look at the shape of the cam with this position here and the profile, and just take a general image of that cam, and we'll look at the new cam. The shape, forget about the reliefs, the shapes look exactly the same. So we've got the original one and we've got the new one. So I've got a feeling that this is going to feel exactly the same to draw, and if we can get more speed out of that cam with exactly the same draw, it's going to be a bonus. Alright, let's set it up to shoot and I'll tell you what I think.